Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, before I get into the Tom Bower book, which I know you are eagerly anticipating, I'm going to briefly talk about the body language that I saw displayed at the UN between Harry and Meghan. So if you would like to join me in this particular video, or you would like to also just enjoy the waffle that is going to kind of come beforehand, then, you know, please feel free to do so. Don't forget to, if you like my videos, please think about subscribing to the channel because it really does help the algorithm. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to become a member, the button is right by the subscribe button and you can join for $2.99. But I will give more details about that at the end of the video. So Bubbles, let's get into the waffle. So I'm seeing lots of people talking about the book. It seems to really have taken off. I went and gave my little review on Amazon, and I have seen that, which I do wonder if Amazon have actually been deleting some negative reviews, because I saw a couple on there, which we know who they're from the squad, because of course they had to do that. But ironically, when that potentially happened for Finding Freedom, they were up in arms about it. You know, the fact that people were going on putting negative reviews about Finding Freedom. Oh no, you're not allowed to do that. But when a book comes out that goes against their cult leader, Meghan, oh no, they can go on and give, you know, reviews. So negative reviews. So it's interesting to me how the double standards always seem to play out with this particular group of people. I scoured the video because I saw this particular footage from the body language guy, Jesus. And I'm pretty sure that most of you have seen him. He is great. I think he's incredibly funny. So I saw this particular footage because I do watch some of his videos. And so I thought, right, you know, I'm going to scour the internet to find this footage. And I did manage to, but boy, did I have to go through, because it was very edited. Like all the footage most of it that I come across was from the bit where she gives the water to the woman behind her. They conveniently crop out the bit before, where, you know, it really does show this particular body language. But yeah, that was fascinating to me. So I'm in the book, honestly, I really have to do this in stages, guys, because this book is full on. It's interesting, fascinating reading, but it is full on, and it does weigh heavy. It does weigh heavy. And I'm sure the ones that have read it, you'll know what I mean. But because I love you all, I am doing my due diligence, and I am picking apart this book, and I guess that is what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, because it's going to take a little bit of it's probably going to take a while to break this down. So I hope you will bear with me. So bye now, Bubbles. And it's cooler here today, by the way. Oh, thank you very much, weather God. It is cooler here. And I will say that I have still been getting in, even though it's cooler, I have still been getting in my cool tub, big tub. I never escape it. I don't know what happens to my brain. Just decides to come out with random tub. Cool tub. Because as you know, I'm trying to ease myself into this Wim Hof method, because it's supposed to be very, very good for you. And with my illness, I figure that anything that helps my swelling has got to be good. So I'm now at 21 degrees and I got in it today and oh my goodness, it was cold. And that's probably not even as cold as what it can go. I'm sure it's not, but for me that was, it was cold, but I got in, did it. Albeit that it was kind of a flash. It was in and I was out, because I think some people sit in it for 3 minutes or something crazy like that. I think I managed 3 seconds. I was like, oh, that's too cold. But I'm like, okay, baby steps. I'm doing it, but in stages. So yeah, so be proud of me, Bubbles. So yeah, I think that's the waffle for today. I'll probably think of something more that I haven't said, so I'll have to save that for tomorrow. So by now, you should know what to do. Whether it be your drink of choice is a herbal tea. I saw someone mentioned on the channel today, a nice herbal tea. Whether it is normal tea, whether it is coffee, whether it be water, or in my case, I've gone back to my ever faithful cherries and berries, because I always seem to go back to this. But as you all know, whether you would like a glass of Guinness, whether you would like a passion fruit liqueur, because I found that today and I did buy some because I want to try it. Just do a little snippet. Because as I always say, and it is alcoholic, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Shh. Let's dive right in. So, Bubbles, welcome to the main part of the video, or for some people the waffle is the main part. So yes, body language, their relationship. Now I am going to do a more in-depth video series on their relationship after, and I appreciate that for some of you guys, I know I'm doing a bit on them right now, but they are in the news a lot, and this book is a huge topic of conversation, so it feels right to break it down and give that to you, especially as I know a lot of you want that. So looking at their relationship in the UN, in that clip, and I will thank, like I say, the body language guy for showing the clip, because I couldn't really find it anywhere. I did manage to find it, but he was the main one. Wow. All I can say is their body language in that particular moment really does confirm what I believe, to be honest, from the get-go. I don't believe that she's ever loved Harry. In fact, well, let's be clear. Narcissists do not know how to love in the way someone deserves to be loved. So when, because to me, love isn't quantified. It's very much something that's very deep rooted. And I would say, I don't believe it should come with conditions, but as humans, we sometimes can put conditions without realizing. But as a narcissistic personality type, they very rarely, unless it's just a personality trait, know how to love somebody. Now, I will say that in her own way, when you look back at footage of Trevor, I do think that she had feelings for him. But I think that there was a potential where he was a bit of a challenge for her in the beginning, because it seemed that he was quite egotistical himself. He was up and coming and he had a bit of an ego. So I think he was a bit of a challenge for her. So I think she did develop some feelings for him. And I will talk about that later on. But in this particular footage of the UN, which I'm going to run alongside, kind of, I think I'm going to put it as a small little box up here somewhere, here or here, whichever way. You can clearly see that this is a couple that is not in love. Now, okay, you could argue the fact that maybe they've just had a row, because there were rumours that they had this huge row before going in. And if I hadn't have seen other footage where I believe that they have this purely business arrangement now, I would have said this could also equally look like they've just had this huge Barney and he's proper sort of annoyed and sulking in a way. And so this would then explain the display in their behaviour. But I don't believe this is just that. Now, okay, I don't know if they did have this row or not. Regardless, when you watch her, so for example, I'm going to show up it here. There's the footage of them coming up the elevator, and it's like she clicks into performance mode. Now, also as well, when you have to think of almost the opposite. So when you have a couple in love, they tend look, and again, think Catherine and William. No real public displays of affection. The odd time now and again, but not. They do not hold hands. But you can see by the way they mirror each other. Because this is, even though I have talked about this in narcissistic personality, this is what happens in the beginning, in part of love bombing. But when you're in almost like a symbiotic relationship where you are perfectly matched, you mirror each other naturally. And I know this as well because as a lot of therapists, when we work with clients, to create a client to feel at ease, there's a lot of mirroring behavior going on with clients as well. But so you see this because it's empathic, it creates comfort. When you're seeing what we're seeing with Harry and Meghan, first and foremost, when they're sitting together, he's away from her. His body language is turned away from her. This is not conducive to someone in love, because naturally, without even realizing it, when you are caring about somebody and you have that respect, you automatically turn to them. His hands are away from her, his knees are away from her, so he's literally not in sort of correlation with her. Everywhere they go, she grabs his hand. She has to have some connection with him. And this to me is very much about less is more. So this is why when you see people on Facebook, oh my gosh, we've got the most amazing relationship, you know, we're doing this, we're doing that. When someone feels the need to do that, and I'm not talking about the odd time, you know, it's okay to do this on the odd time. It's okay to big your partner up. I'm talking about when someone does it all of the time and goes into great detail about their relationship, of how amazing it is. You find that there underneath that there's insecurity and there is issues. So when you see Meghan, literally, like I call her a barnacle, because she literally just goes and just latches onto him every chance she gets. So you see this literally whenever they walk out, you know, they won't be holding hands. It's like you see them coming out of a restaurant. They won't be holding hands. As soon as they get to where the photographers are seeing them, she grabs his hand, or that, you know, automatically they're holding hands because they know the cameras are on them. She knows. I don't think Harry actually particularly cares, but she knows where those cameras are. And that's why when you see them sitting down, she's got duper's delight. You can absolutely see that, because her grin doesn't match him. No, there are elements when they are talking together and they're talking to the people behind and he's kind of laughing with them, and that's genuine. But when he's with her and you can see this grimace on his face where he's kind of doing, and then you watch his knee moves up and down. That's anxiety that is held back. It's like anger. So you can really kind of see that in his body language. But the way that what she does is that she goes to hold his hand. He doesn't want that, so he takes his hand away from her, because he in this moment, he is not wanting to be connected to her. Then she's very aware of the cameras, and her mouth does not move. It's like she has this kind of look on her face, which you can see. This grin doesn't move. This is in her head. I'd almost imagine her saying, the cameras are on me, the cameras are on me, the cameras are on me. So what she then does is she looks up. She doesn't even look. It's kind of, she grabs his arm, coils herself around like a snake almost, and clamps it down. And you can then see, that's when he pulls the face. You know, you can see the agitation in his face, the anger, his leg moving up and down. You know, then you see that he then starts to self-soothe with like touching his blade, his jacket. And she just sits there grinning, completely not giving any thought to his discomfort. This is like, you are going to act like you love me, and you're going to act like you care about me because the cameras are on, you know. And then obviously then she lets, I think at some point that then she lets go of his hand. He immediately, he doesn't leave it there, because what you find with a loving relationship is, even if, you know, it's natural to kind of to want to connect with each other. So even if she took her hand away, he would still possibly leave his hand on her knee. But he doesn't. As soon as she takes her hand off, he moves his hand back, and then he goes to fiddling with his wedding ring, which is another sign, in my opinion. When you start fiddling, you have anxiety, you're fiddling with your wedding ring, there's trouble. There's trouble there. And, you know, you see this a lot with the two of them. He fiddles with his ring a lot. I've noticed that in, I think he even did it in the Oprah interview. He was fiddling with his ring. And that's what he does. And then when you see him get up and have that speech, you know, the fact that all the media I noticed seemed to kind of home in on, and was the fact that he mentioned her as his soulmate. That wasn't even relevant. That wasn't even relevant. That was, why even put that into a speech? Why? It's because she put it in there, because every opportunity she has, they have to mention that they are a loved up couple, you know, my wife, my husband, you know, and the children, you know, my children, you know. It's like they have to mention this in almost everything, you know. And so this is why, you know, I am of the firm belief that they are not together. Now, whether or not, like I've said before, he's living in one half of the mansion, if they're even in that mansion, because I'm not even sure if I believe they're there anyway. So whether or not he's living in one wing and she's living in the east wing and he's the west wing, you know, and then, you know, they just get together for social events just to, you know, create this air of illusion that they are actually a couple and they're in love. If they were secure with each other, they wouldn't feel the need to do that. You know, not only that, why was she even there in the first place? You know, he was giving this speech, but she turned up with him. Why? You know, it's like he can't do anything by himself. Invictus Games, she's got to be there. Everything that he does, she has to be there. The reason why I believe is because she knows full well that no one wants her. No one credible is interested in her. And this is why she will cling on to him, my favourite word, like a barnacle, because she knows without him still, there's nothing. There's nothing. They don't work. They float around doing these, like I say, these virtue signaling word salad speeches that they buy their way into, because I've heard that they didn't actually get offered for that. They actually gave a donation to create this speech that I believe she wrote. And that's why I think he looks incredibly uncomfortable. It's not natural. The speech wasn't natural. He sounded miserable, looked miserable. You know, he was consistently licking his lips the whole time like a lizard, you know, swallowing. You know, he was so anxious. Now, and this is a man that's given quite a few speeches. Why was he so anxious? Because I believe that he knew deep down that A, he hadn't written that speech, that B, that it was probably a terrible speech, but she's made him do it anyway. You know, and for the people that are kind of creating this, like, you know, he's a hostage. Yeah, he does come across like he is. He looks like he is, which then begs the question, why? If he's this unhappy, why doesn't he leave? And the reason I believe is because I think, and I've always said this, I think there is some blackmail involved because she needs him. She needs him. And I think they kind of need each other in a way. Well, no, I don't think he needs her. Not anymore. I think it's too far gone now. I think he's gone too far and he knows that. So whether or not things will change, well, it'd be interesting to see when Catherine and William come for the Earthshot Prize to America. We'll see what happens there. But it's my belief that these two are heading for a divorce. I think that she is in this devalue stage with him. I don't think she's at discard phase yet because she hasn't found a better option. Because at the minute, there isn't a better option. No, I don't believe anyone's knocking on her door. So at the minute, being part of the royal family is the best she's going to get. So she will hold on to him for dear life and she will do whatever it takes to keep hold of him. And I think Harry potentially knows that she's got a huge fan base. You know, this whole kind of racial element to this, I think, is where she's got him. I do believe that. I think that's where she will cry racism. She will probably potentially bring out his mental health. I think she will try to ruin him if they split. And I think deep down he knows that. So whether or not behind the scenes they are doing whatever they can to manage that damage limitation, the fallout, before he can actually leave, I don't know. But I'd imagine that's potentially what they could be doing, because if they don't, she will do whatever it takes, because this is how a narcissist behaves. They go all out to ruin somebody. If they are not, if she leaves him, it won't be as bad. She'll still try because she'll need to be the victim of the piece, but it won't be as bad. But if he goes to leave her when she's not ready, it will be catastrophic for him. And I think deep down he knows that. And that's why I think what we saw at the UN was a man that just looks defeated and he looks trapped. And I did feel for him. Don't get me wrong. I do not think what he's done with anything to do with his family is okay by any means. And he's only got himself to blame in rushing into that relationship with her, because he should have got to know her better first, and he perhaps should have listened to people, but he didn't. But I will say that given the fact that I have worked with clients that have been in narcissistic abusive relationships and I've been on the receiving end of a narcissist, it is or can be easy to get caught up with them when you don't realize, and before you know it, you're in it. And you've got to remember, this is a global scale. You know, this is not a relationship that, you know, that we would experience. So I'd imagine, you know, his reputation, his family's reputation is probably what he's thinking of. So he doesn't know how to get out of this. And she certainly wouldn't make it easy for him. So yeah, so that's what I kind of think about that UN. And I do think it's very telling. But like I say, I do not believe these two are together, as in living together in a harmonious relationship, husband and wife with 2 children. I do not believe this at all. So, but let me know what you think, as you always do, my lovely bubbles, in the comments section. If you, like I said, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like more of my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Nearly got that wrong, because it does help YouTube promote me and put me on the recommended. We are at now 16,300 subscribers. So thank you so much. You guys are, honestly, I just love you so much. You have helped boost this channel, and you mean so much to me. So thank you. Like I say, if you'd like to become a member, please consider doing that. It's $2.99 and it's right by the subscribe button. Don't forget that my merch is in the channel. My merch is in the channel. My merch is in the description box below. Oh God. And what else? Thank you to everybody who's bought me a cup of tea. Thank you so much. You are paying it forward, and you are helping me help others behind the scenes in giving them free therapy because they cannot financially afford it. So I love you. I appreciate you. And most of all, I respect you. So thank you. And I will see you in a video tomorrow. Mwah. And I've got hiccups now. Love you. Bye.